Day 14 of Green Bay Packers training camp is now officially in the books ahead of their second preseason game this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. The Green Bay Packers also have a full padded practice tomorrow, then a walk through Thursday, and then actually a joint practice in Denver when they fly to Denver on Friday. So in today's video, we have highlights to react to and break down, as well as go over all the key takeaways and notes we have from day 14 of Green Bay Packers training camp practice. If you happen to be a new viewer and want to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers, you'll find it all here on this channel, from training camp highlights, recaps, game live streams, and reactions. You'll find it all here on this channel. I'd really appreciate it if you guys went down and clicked subscribe. Guys, we're all excited to watch the Green Bay Packers this season, but what's even better than just watching the Packers is actually going to a game yourself. And that's where today's video sponsor, SeatGeek, comes in. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events on SeatGeek, of course, including sports, concerts, and other events. I've personally been to 16 different stadiums and over 20 Packer games, so it's always very important to make sure you get good tickets. SeatGeek puts all the tickets across the web in one place, so you know you're getting a good deal. And each ticket on SeatGeek is rated on a scale from 1 to 10. So look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. So then you truly know when you're actually getting a good deal on a ticket. And of course, I want everyone here to be able to go to a live Packers game. It is truly an awesome experience. And you guys can actually get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek with code Basaraski. Make sure to go click the link down in the description and download the app. So go take a look at all the Packers tickets available over on SeatGeek, as well as concert tickets. I'm a frequent concert goer as well, and SeatGeek is a great place to pretty much find anything you need ticket-wise. Again, you guys can get $20 off your first purchase down with the link in the description and using code Basaraski at checkout. So guys, go get your Packers tickets, and thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. All right, so now let's dive down into the warm-up clips we have from today's practice. In this first clip, you see Jordan Morgan. This is important because Jordan Morgan has returned to practice today. We saw him suffer that shoulder injury last week, was held out of, I think, the last 2 practices last week, and we didn't see him at all in the first preseason game. Really good sign to see him here today, practicing in some fashion. I don't think he practiced in teams. I think it was just warm-ups, but nonetheless, it looks good for him potentially playing here on Sunday. I'm very excited to finally see some Jordan Morgan action at right guard for this Green Bay Packers offensive line. Sean Ryan took his place the first preseason game and had a ton of snaps there, and actually had a very solid game in terms of pass blocking and run blocking, but it still seems like Jordan Morgan is the potential starter at right guard for the Green Bay Packers in terms of week 1. It's the spot he stayed at the most. Matt LaFleur was asked before practice if there's any chance he could get some work at left tackle, and he said it's always a thought, but it seems like right now Jordan Morgan's spot truly is at right guard, so I'm excited to finally see the first-round rookie in action potentially this Sunday. Some other injury updates for the Packers from today's practice. Tyron Hopper also returned to practice today from his ankle injury. Dimitri Stanley returned from the hamstring injury. Deslin Alexander returned from the leg injury, and Donovan Jennings also back from the knee injury. Excited to see him as well for this offensive line. Quay Walker was limited today. You see him doing this very interesting drill where he has a towel held in front of his face and pulled away at the last second and working on his reaction time catching a football. That's good for Quay Walker because I've seen this guy drop many interceptions, so hopefully he can clean that up, get his hands better, so we can see some Quay Walker interceptions this season. He is limited today, but it doesn't seem serious. It wasn't disclosed what type of injury it was. He just didn't participate in teams, but again, it doesn't seem serious at all. Edgerrin Cooper is still out, so if we have any chance of seeing him in preseason game 2, he'll probably have to practice tomorrow, so tomorrow will be a big sign for some players that are still out to potentially, contribute preseason week 2. That includes Carrington Valentine, who has still yet to return to practice with that hamstring. Who knows if we'll see him at all during preseason. Obviously, hamstrings are injuries that we're used to seeing as Green Bay Packers fans, and it's not something to take lightly. And then Jarvian Howard is also a new addition to the injury list. He has an ankle injury, likely suffered that in the game versus the Browns. Here's a clip of Jair Alexander going through a warm-up drill here. He missed this first preseason game, but it was said to be a personal matter, so it wasn't the Packers simply just giving Jair Alexander rest. It was for a personal matter, so maybe we'll see a drive of Jair here in week 2 versus the Denver Broncos, which I'd be all for. Again, getting these starters at least a drive, I think, is crucial. We saw last week against the Browns, one drive for the offense, ended up in a deep touchdown to Tay Wicks. That's fine. That's all you needed to see. Obviously, we're watching the game for the rookies, the depth players to round out this 53-man roster, but it's still nice to see, some of the starters get some snaps. Obviously, also being a new defense, a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, a new scheme. You want to see a little bit of that before week 1. In this clip, we see Jordan Love going through a footwork drill and firing the ball over the middle right into the net. Jordan Love had a good day of practice today, which started with a 50-yard bomb to Christian Watson over Eric Stokes, where Watson went up to get the ball. Great 50-50 ball. Lost his helmet in the process, but came down with the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Love was very nice in practice today, and that connection with Christian Watson continues. He also fired a very nice deep ball right in between the safety and over top of the corner. It was to Jaden Reed out of the slot. Javon Bullard covering Jaden Reed kind of misjudged it, allowed Reed to get by him, and Love fired a nice seam ball right underneath Xavier McKinney over the top of Javon Bullard. Also had a very impressive 2-minute drill to start where Love threw a slant to Tay Wicks, went up, clocked the ball, then had a touchdown to Dobbs on an out route where he was wide open on blown coverage. Then Bullard and Jair had a talk after that play why that coverage was blown. So Jordan Love, very impressive day, but the main thing in today's practice was that we seemingly have a new quarterback number 2, at least in today's practice. Michael Pratt got all second team snaps and took both 2-minute drills after Jordan Love. Maybe there was an injury issue with Clifford where he couldn't then participate in 2-minute drills. I'm not sure, but Clifford also had a rough day of practice beforehand, before the 2-minute drills, where Pratt took over and did both of them. So it could be performance, it could be injury. But Clifford, again, threw multiple interceptions today, one to Zane Anderson. Seems like Zane Anderson is Sean Clifford's kryptonite, which is something I never thought I would actually be saying. But Michael Pratt, again, has been impressive. And taking over for the number 2s today, he looked nice out there. And he shows raw talent. He can fire the football. And it just seems like he's still learning the playbook. But if that's the only thing holding him back, Michael Pratt is very, very intriguing. And this quarterback battle is really starting to heat up. As for some defensive notes I have from today's practice, not a ton happened today. It was half padded, so just shoulder pads, no leg pads. Tomorrow will be full padded. And then, of course, I'm sure we'll get a lot more notes Friday for that joint practice versus the Denver Broncos. Joint practices are always great, longer practices, and usually a lot happens. And usually we get more filming. And this one will be in Denver, so hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of 11v11 clips from that practice. If we get them, they'll all be here on this channel. So again, I'd really suggest going down, clicking subscribe, turning on post notifications, so you'll never miss anything for the Green Bay Packers. But as for some defensive notes to wrap up this practice, Kalen King had a really nice sack on Sean Clifford in team sessions. It was a nickel blitz. He's been very impressive in not only coverage, but tackling. We saw that one tackle in the preseason game, a very nice breakdown by Kalen King, and being utilized here in the blitz game by Jeff Hafley, which is great. I love to see nickel blitzes, those type of packages against an offense, something the Packers have been missing for a long, long time. Eric Stokes, although got beat by Christian Watson early in the practice, had a really nice pass breakup on Romeo Dobbs, a deep ball from Jordan Love. McKinney did have to drop out a few plays, but nothing to worry here. He came back in and continued practice. So likely just cramped up, something of that sort, not an actual injury scare. And then the last note I have here is Lucas Van Ness just continues to grow and grow and grow. He had a very impressive sack versus Kadeem Telfort, just a very easy beat against Telfort to sack Michael Pratt. He was super impressive in this first preseason game and looks like a whole new player in a good way in this new 4-3 scheme, having a hand down in the dirt, not only rushing the passer, but containing the run. Very excited for Lucas Van Ness year 2. There's a reason I got his signed jersey right behind me. I believe big things are ahead for Lucas Van Ness, as I believe big things were ahead for the jersey right above as well, that Jordan Love signed jersey there. So very excited for this front 7, including Lucas Van Ness and this defense as a whole. To wrap things up, we have one special teams note, as the only kicker today was Alex Hale. He started strong, kicking 4 in a row, but then that quickly turned and he missed the next 4. All, I think, wide right, and then the last one off the upright. Then he made one more later in practice, so Alex Hale finished 5 for 9 on the day, and now with today's practice has the lowest percentage of all kickers. So it's still interesting right now. It's a very close battle between Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson. Greg Joseph, in theory, has been kicking better. He's had a better percentage in camp. Preseason was perfect for the both of them. I think Anders made 2 field goals at PAT. Joseph made a PAT and a field goal, so great for both of them in that preseason game. Will be interesting to see their range in Denver this Sunday. You know, maybe they allow Anders to attempt a 62-yard field goal or something of that sort. If you're in Denver, you might as well try it, right? But I'm interested to see how this kicking battle continues. I think Anders has a little bit longer of a leash just because, of course, he was a draft pick by the Green Bay Packers. But if neither were drafted and you were to ask me right now who is kicking better, it has been Greg Joseph. But I think Anders does have more potential. Let me know who you think will win that battle in the comments below. But I appreciate you guys coming by to the channel. Be on the lookout for tomorrow's video from tomorrow's practice. And, of course, if I get any 11v11s or 1v1 footage from tomorrow's practice, and as I said, the joint practice Friday, it'll all be here on this channel. So be on the lookout for that as well. But I appreciate you guys coming by. Please leave a like down below to support the channel. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.